Welcome to Love Lattes, the podcast designed for women who are ready to stop settling and start living a life full of authentic love, confidence, and real connection. I'm your host, Victoria, the self-love scientist, speaker, and coach, and I'm here to help you reclaim your power, deepen your relationships, and fall unapologetically in love with yourself. So grab your tea, your latte, or your favorite beverage, and let's get started.
Remember when you were in school and we all tried really hard to program ourselves to be like how to be the most attractive or how can I make myself more desirable to get my crush's attention? Or the way that social media just inspires us, like we need to become more desirable, all for the sake of partnership, all for the sake of sex. But you know, the one thing, or in this instance, the three things that no one actually teaches us about sex that actually deepens intimacy is how do we have connected sex? And those things in the beginning are part of the problem. So, welcome to Love and Lattes. I'm Victoria, and in this solos episode, we go and talk about sex. And if you've ever felt like sex was happening to you instead of with you, or if you've ever wondered why something that looks good on paper, maybe even over text, but doesn't actually feel fulfilling in your body, this episode's for you. Today, I really want to talk about what they didn't teach us about sex and how these missing pieces can completely change the way intimacy feels in your relationships. So grab your coffee, your tea, maybe a pencil, and let's get into it. Number one, nobody taught us that great sex is about communication and not performance. Like, don't get me wrong. We all love to feel physically like the work is working, right? But the problem is, a lot of us learn sex through media, cultural cues, early experiences, where it's put in front of us like the goal of sex is be good at it, you know? Like you should know what you're doing. You should, the whole point is have sex because they want you, have sex because they chose you, and we all want to be chosen. But I hear this from women all the time, and I've been there where you're in your head in the middle of it, and you're like, do I look okay? Am I taking too long? I haven't orgasmed yet. It doesn't feel very good. Are they enjoying it? It's kind of quiet. Like it's so awkward, right? And suddenly you're like, you're not even looking forward to sex, whether if you're in a long-term relationship or you're hooking up or you're dating, whatever the case may be, you'll start to look at sex like a chore. Sick. That is so sickening. Because sex needs to be a conversation, right? And when we get in our heads about this performance, well, maybe if I like hike my head up a little bit, maybe if I moan a little louder, they'll like me more. Like, no, honey, no, this isn't about them. It's about you and possibly that other person. This also goes for solo sex too. So if you're not seeing anyone, if you're independent, masturbation is the same thing because we could just close our eyes and pretend it's someone else, right? So the truth that we weren't taught is sex and pleasure is something you have the power to co-create when you communicate, right? Go back. Sex and pleasure is something you can co-create when you communicate. And it's understanding that asking or speaking your truth doesn't ruin the moment. It honestly upgrades it. I know a lot of us are going to hold ourselves back in the middle of sex. Like, I don't want them to be upset with me, and it's like, but at the end of the day, the more you tolerate or accept things that don't feel good, or if you're hitting up against a wall, this is only going to make things worse. And the worst thing you can do is say nothing, right? Silence can create disconnection because you'll be in your head, they're thinking everything's great, and nobody's talking. But guess who's actually talking? Your body is going to start like holding tension. No one, and this is not your fault, no one taught us at a young age that saying, I like it, yes, no, or slow down. Can we try this? Is it's actually a good thing. These are things you want to say. Expressing what you need in the bedroom is one of the most intimate and honest things you can do. Your partners will thank you. Your nervous system will thank you. And you're deserving, like everyone deserves to have great sex, but great sex cannot happen if you think like, you know, shout out to heated rivalry. Like it looks good on TV, but it's not, that's not what it's about. It's not about looking good. Like if you look great in your physical body, love that for you, have fun. But you can't be in your head thinking about this, right? Like maybe, decide to buy like sexy lingerie and just feel good about it. You deserve to feel good. If sex feels distant, if it feels awkward or even unfulfilling, it's often not because of the performance or they didn't hit it right or we didn't have enough lube. Those things can happen, but it's honestly because we lack the confidence or even the willingness to speak up. And nothing will put yourselves in a more bad situation than creating distance and having bad sex. Like life is too short. Everyone deserves to have great sex. Thank you. So, what I would recommend from this is start with one sentence or one word that you don't normally say and put it in the bedroom. Maybe when you're with your partner and they're exploring, because again, your partner is not responsible for your pleasure. You are, but they're going to keep doing the same thing, thinking it's working. And you're going to be in your head and you'll be like, I really wish they would go faster. I really wish they pulled my hair. Tell them you need to have this conversation. Like you could be in it and just be like, faster. I know it might feel like awkward to say it, or maybe you're embarrassed, but guess what? The right people want nothing more than you to have a good time. Because guess what? They're going to have a good time and everybody wins. Just remember that honesty is sexier than perfecting a move, a position. Okay? So that was the first point. The second thing they didn't teach us about sex is desire is responsive, not constant. So we, so many people panic when they're like, oh, fuck, I'm not in the mood. I used to be all the time, and I want that. I want to be close to my person, but your body isn't exactly there, right? How many of us are like, I mean, it sounds like a great idea, but I'm fucking tired. Or my body is telling me it wants it, but my mind is so wound up. I've got 50 tabs open. And instead of getting curious, we get so critical. And then that can lead to poor sex. So the thing that nobody really talks about is this desire, this, I want to have intimacy. But guess what? We are human beings. We are processing too much nowadays, this information, and our desire is going to be influenced by stress, by safety. Guess what? Inside, as an organism, you have hormones that are going to be regulating you and emotional closeness. Long-term desire doesn't usually show up out of nowhere. It's something you have to create. Wanting sex and being ready for sex are not the same. Desire isn't something you can have or don't have. It's something that responds to your personal conditions. So what I would do is, kind of check in. Maybe it's been a while, or have the conversation with your partner, have the conversation with your friends. We've seen, it's very interesting, like there's no real scale timeline that sex suddenly becomes boring after a certain age or after kids, or if you've experienced a trauma, whether it's small or even catastrophic. Desire is still within all of us. It's just that we expose ourselves to so much, and especially in this day and age, that we think, well, as long as we're always having sex, it's fine. But deep down, again, just like the first point, it's like, but I don't want to, right? Or there's confusion because let me tell you, people think the way your body responds means you're ready, but mentally you're probably not. And that's okay. You're not broken if your desire needs warming up. You're a human. You're a human being. And I want you to think about this and focus less on, am I turned on? Because we're, we're, we are animals. We see someone, we're turned on by, attractiveness, but did you ask yourself if you were relaxed? Did you ask yourself if you feel safe? Are you even present? Because if you're not present, if you're not feeling safe, and you're not relaxed because you're in high alert or fight or flight or anything else, sex is going to be just the physical sex, like animals. Like you're just going to do it and then you're going to move on and then the repercussions will follow, right? And, yes, you can be turned on, but maybe your body is not feeling safe. Maybe you have sex, you feel turned on, but then you're like, oh my God, that Zoom meeting, oh my God, like guys. Or maybe you're suddenly thinking of the flaws from your own person. Like that's not okay. So there are a lot of practices that you can do. The most important one is to check in, right? Let's say your partner wants to have sex because they absolutely adore you because you're a beautiful human being. And maybe there's a part of you that wants to have sex, but the other party is like, maybe you're not. And that's okay. And there's a way you can communicate about that. So try it out. And if you ever need support about it, I've got my link. You can schedule a one-to-one with me and we can talk about it. Everyone deserves to experience deep intimacy, and that's going to feel not just a relationship with your partners, it's going to fulfill the relationship you have with yourself. My third and final point about something that they did not teach us about sex is that emotional safety is foreplay. Yes, you heard me. Like, have you ever wanted sex, but your body's like, mm, mm, I can't open. Nothing is wrong, but something feels closed. It's not that your body is failing you, but it is trying to tell you something. So the issue is, just like in school, they don't teach us about how to check in with ourselves. They just, all they honestly do is tell us how to like wrap it up. And that's it. There's no consent, there's no body confidence conversations. And a lot of this is so important to have and to create that conversation right before you have sex. So, what they didn't teach us and why this is a huge problem is any unresolved tension is going to come up in the bedroom. It's not your fault. But sometimes when we have, if our nervous system is dysregulated, if we have experienced traumas, if we're literally in the situation we're in right now because we just need to check out, it's going to come up. Your body is going to show or create. And if you move through with this, it's not going to be a good time. And here's the thing. What they didn't tell us was when we feel emotionally chosen, emotionally connected, that creates a physical openness and response that's healthy, that's safe, just like we said in the second part. Like, I feel like I can completely dissolve in this. And emotional safety, aka the foreplay, you can have that before you even step into the bedroom, right? Your body and your brain, which your brain is the biggest organ that's connected to your orgasm. If there's anything else you've learned, learn that. But your body and your brain will know when you feel respected. It's going to know when you feel rushed. Like, I understand quickies are great, but if this is your first time and it's been a long time and this person is putting the pressure and you're like, I guess I'll just do it, but your body is closed off, again, not okay. It's not okay. Sex can be sex, but if your intentions are to have or you need that emotional connection, then we need to have the emotional connection. Your body knows when it doesn't feel emotionally held. If you do not have an emotional relationship or some kind of form of connection, intimacy is going out the door. Goodbye, because those boxes have now become unchecked. The bedroom will impact the relationship, but it doesn't mean it's permanent, right? You can repair, you can create presence, and you can learn how to create and communicate the affection you need during and before and after sex. Just because you need emotional attachment doesn't mean, you're needy. It means like you need this form of nourishing. Sex should be like biting into a sweet, juicy peach. It's delicious and it's sweet and just like it just makes a mess and you're like, who cares? And if you go into it and you bite and it's hard and it's not ripe and it's not ready and you're just sitting there chewing it and then you're questioning yourself, like, no, it's not going to work out. So at the end of the day, most of us weren't taught about these truths. We were taught like how to protect ourselves to a certain extent. Nobody talks about how to understand your desire or do you feel safe in our bodies? Can you allow yourself to be seen? Like these are really big things that honestly are going to make the biggest difference. So if you're still learning, if you're still trying to understand, like, for me, I'm, into my 30s and I didn't understand that I was allowed to experience pleasure. I thought it was a performance. And when you find out and recognize that you're just as worthy and that sex, pleasure, intimacy are just this huge, huge fucking best day ever, like it's a work in progress, but you're not behind. You get to continue building on it forever. But you cannot build, you cannot add, you cannot grow if you're not willing to understand these truths. Like it's not just about, yes or no, I want to have sex. It's not about, well, they're sexy and I'm okay with it. Like understanding those things that you need, understanding like am I present, and understanding like just check in. Like sometimes it sounds like a great idea, but maybe you had a really shitty day at work. Like let's schedule it. I always tell my clients to schedule it. And doing all this by choice is going to create a stronger conscious, a stronger connection, and that's where the real work begins. So, how was that? Are we feeling spicy? Are we feeling worked up? Do you have questions about sex? You can always shoot me a message. And as always, leave us a 5-star review on the episode if you enjoyed it. And I love seeing the comments. It just absolutely makes my day. And I will see you in the next episode.